Hello there, and we are live. See ya, ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome to another episode of the Dial and Claude Show,
Woo!
episode 17, season 1. See ya, guys. Yeah, I have my partner in crime, yeah, that's stuck by me for 17 episodes. I can't believe it. Just yesterday, I was telling my big homie, the Oregon Gunner, hey man, we have to do a show together. And suddenly, for 17 weeks, guys,
Yeah,
let that sink in. For 17 weeks, me and my brother have been going back and forth and bringing you lots of stuff about the Arsenal this season. Man, see, welcome. My partner in crime today, the Dow. DVS, everything, Tracy, every name you can think of, yeah. Infamous Dow, everything,
that's right.
Oregon Gunner, everything you can ever think of. No other person than Dal, my guy, the Oregon Gunner. He gets a po. He's an Arsenal fan. True Gunner in the out. Po. My brother,
Thanks,
you're
Jordan.
welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Day after Christmas, feeling pretty good. Got lots of rest. Back to work today, unfortunately, but
Mm,
had the sniffles a little bit too, like you were talking about. Just probably catching a small cold, but other than that, I'm doing okay.
mm.
Thanks for having me on again. Episode 17.
Man, it takes discipline, yeah. It takes discipline, man.
Yes,
I have lots of shows that we've not even gotten up to episode 17. So it takes lots of discipline to say, hey, I'm doing this and I'm committing myself to it, and then, we just create magic. Imagine 17 episodes, man. I have to
exactly.
thank you for that, man. See,
Oh, thank you.
lots of things happening today, yeah. See,
Yeah,
Malia, you're welcome to the show. Malia is in the chat.
yeah.
Malia, if no one is here, you will be here, Malia. Malia, you are the best. I do love you. Malia is a lady, actually, from, she's Somali. So big
Oh,
ups to
nice.
you, Malia. How are you doing? And Malia was in the watch along with me and Longhead Yeti, because I did a
Oh,
watch along on Longhead Yeti's channel today. See, he was buzzing, like seriously buzzing
I'll bet.
today.
Yeah,
Oregon Gunner. And you know why? They went to St. James Park today. And
got a
at
win.
St. James Park, they beat Newcastle today.
Mm,
In Northumberland in St. James Park today by 3 goals to 1. Chris Wood getting a much deserved hat trick
mm.
for Nottingham Forest today. Strikers looking good. Awoniyi was injured in that matchup.
Right.
Elanga was looking good from the wings. Uh, Good counter attacking football, good
Hmm.
defensive approach. Santo has come into that team, galvanized that team, and changed that team under 2 games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I saw the highlights. Unfortunately, I didn't catch Yeti's watch along because it was at 5 o'clock this morning my time. But shout out to Yeti and yourself and everybody who joined that watch along. I did see the score line and I was rather impressed. Yeah, and I watched the YouTube highlights of that game, and
Yeah,
the 4-2-3-1 that he put out is a very good squad. You look at that squad from left back to right back. I think their center backs are decent, but the two players they had in front, I think it was Danilo, and someone else. I can't remember the other player, but I think of the name if I saw it. But you could see that just the names on the sheet, like, okay, that guy can do something, that guy can do
that guy
something.
can do
And
something.
Chris Wood can
Exactly.
score, right? Chris Wood can score goals. I mean, he's a poacher in the box. He's not someone that comes to mind, right? When you think of
Exactly.
elite strikers, but he got the job done today. And you're right, the second game under Nuno, they already looked better. And I rate Forest. I think they're probably a top 12 side,
Mm.
and I know Getty would like to hear that as well. So, yeah, big up Forest. I don't think they're gonna be in relegation at all with Nuno, and it looks like that is the best 11 he's put out, bar Awaniwi up front. Obviously he's better than Chris
He's
Wood.
injured. Awoni is injured.
Joy's a good player. I mean, Alonga's a decent player.
Mm.
He's much better now than he was at United.
Yeah.
Um, And Hudson-Odoi, like I said before, he's a strong, fast player. I mean, he's not
He's a strong pass
he's
player. Yeah,
a top,
exactly.
5 or 6 winger, but he's probably one of the fastest guys in the league. So yeah, big up Forest. That was an important win for them today.
Very, very big, important win for them. The Assembled is down here. It says, guys in the chat room, big up to you, the Assembled Arsenal fan.
Yeah,
True one down here with us. Malia is also down here with us. Malia said something very important. Oregon good, and this might concern you.
yeah.
Live are top of the league. What do you have to say, Oregon Guna?
Um, well, I know. I think the Burlingame is still going on. I know they're 1-0 up right now, um, but that's to be expected. Malia, it's never going to be a straight race for us. It's always going to be competitive. And now you bring Aston Villa into the mix. I mean, it's really going to be I think a run to the end this season, Tony.
Yeah,
I don't. I see City will pick on, but they really need to kick on soon because Liverpool's getting further away from them. We're getting further away. If Villa beat United today, which they very well could, they'll be pulling away. So you can kind of see City just left in the back, but
left in
not
the back.
turn your backs on them though, right? Because they do have a game in hand, which they missed this
Yeah,
weekend, and we know what Pep can do, right? All
we
it
know what
takes is
Pep can do.
firing, and they'll be back up the table. But it's looking good right now for Liverpool. Of course, we still got to play, and we'll be up by a point if we beat West Ham. Is it
Yeah,
West Ham we have next? I think.
we have West
Yeah.
Ham, London Derby coming up
Mhm.
quite
That'll,
soon.
that'll be a
Oregon
tough
Good.
game.
We'll be talking about that in the latter
Yeah.
stages of our show today because we have that as a topic. We'll look into that Liverpool matchup a little bit. But again, I also want to look into some of these matches that were played today. I'm not saying you
Okay.
watched it, but I'll give you a background just for you to see what I'm trying to say. Arsenal was being linked to this striker a week ago, Solanke, Dominic
Mm.
Solanke. Dominic Solanke just last season scored 6 goals. 2 seasons ago in the championship, he scored about 29 goals for Bournemouth Football Club. Last season, he scored 6 goals. This season, he's been firing on all cylinders. We're linked
Mhm.
to this guy. They said he's 80 million. He's 26-year-old. He has scored 12 goals this season.
Right.
12 goals. He's doubled his
Patrick.
tally. Exactly, he's doubled his tally from last season. He scored 12 goals. He scored in today's game against Fulham. Mind you, Bournemouth are actually a little bit. They look safe from that
Yeah.
relegation zone. I
We'll
don't
tell you
think they're
what.
going to get into a relegation squabble this season, and that's
Mhm.
because they have strikers who are actually firing on all cylinders and scoring
Right.
goals, and that's credit to Dominic Solanke. See, what do you think? Just a quick one. Do you
Mm.
think Dominic Solanke is the kind of guy you would go? Because I heard it's a backup just in case Ivan Tony doesn't answer the clarion call.
Um. No. No. He doesn't. He doesn't. Send chills down my spine, Tony, as in excitement. Um. And maybe it's because of his lack of time at Liverpool when he first signed for Liverpool, but also I think he was a younger kid then, probably
Mm,
in 2021. So we got to give him some slack there for sure. It's a big
yeah,
club to be at when you're 19, 20 years old. That's a lot of expectation. So
yeah.
the kid goes to Bournemouth and he becomes a somebody out of a team of nobodies, essentially. Um, I just, I don't know. He just doesn't spur excitement. If we're talking about Tony and Osimhen, and then Solanke gets thrown in the mix, it's like really. It's like we're kind of just again we're settling. If I think you would agree, if we bought Solanke, we'd be settling,
We'll be
right? We just
settling. Yeah, we'll be settling
we're
for less.
settling for this guy, just like we settled
Yeah.
for Jorginho, like we've
Mm,
settled for whatever players you want to pick out of your head, right? We settled for Rob Holding for a long time. We settled for El Neni. I just think that when we're winning a title, we need to look at top talent, the best we can get in for the money. And Tony right now seems like a deal, and I know he's looking at a contract at Brentford. I think Chelsea are in the background, but I really don't think Chelsea are going to make any moves because Christopher Nkunku, is that his name? Nkunu is back, scored a goal.
scored a
So
goal
that
in last
will
match
ease
also.
their need for Tony, right, from the blue side.
Mm,
Um, I just think that the Tony thing is written in the stars. I mean, he's
yeah.
he's already admitted that he wants to come to Arsenal. We have the money. Brentford could use the money to build in that position. They already have Mbemo, who's a decent backup to
Yeah.
well to Tony, who's the main striker now, and Visa, who's okay. They could take that money and invest that pretty wisely to obviously keep themselves up and find a decent striker. I wouldn't. I could see them taking the Tony money and going and getting Solanke, right? That would
But
be
again,
Brentford move,
that
right?
that comes with a big caveat, right? Because Solanke, like I heard, big clubs are taking a look at him because he just doubled his tally for last
Right.
season. He
But if we
scored
buy
12
Tony,
goals
I
right
mean,
now, so
but
big teams are
listen,
looking at him
right. But listen, Tony, if we get Ivan Tony, wouldn't it fit nicely for Solanke to fit right into Brentford?
to fit right in. But again, Brentford
Right.
has come out to they're actually looking at Eddie Nketiah
Well, right, either,
and
right. I was
Arsenal.
going to be either
And
Solanke or Eddie Nketiah. I'd go
Eddie Nketiah is
Solanke
valued
by
exactly.
Bournemouth, but
Eddie Nketiah is being valued for about £40 million by Arsenal Football Club. And mind you, Arsenal have a very very good relationship with Brentford Football Club. They give us their number one goalkeeper on loan in within the season. That
mm,
relationship is pretty strong for them to
right.
release their number one to come into our football club. That connection is pretty strong. So I believe that we should be using our connections,
Mm,
whatsoever connections we have with Brentford, we should
but
be using it. We should be keying
absolutely.
into it to bring in Ivan Tony, allow Eddie and get go in to the
Mhm.
other side, and again, what's there? We could also throw in a few spanners into the work, throw in some few cherries on top of
Sure.
the cake. Add maybe a Emmy Smith Rowe down there is doing nothing down here, man,
Mhm.
or maybe a Cedric Entertainer to add as a sweetener on those
Right.
deals or what.
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, if we paid, let's say, 85 to 100 mil for Tony, they could get Solanke and Nketiah, and they would have a very good strike force. I mean,
Mm-hmm,
Nketiah, I think, at Brentford will be a good fit, right?
mm,
He's definitely not going to get 20 goals there, but if he was to play with someone like Solanke, maybe go to a 4-4-2 and have both strikers up there, I think Bournemouth would definitely get something out of that. But of course, they would need to work out their subs. But
mm,
if we do bid 100 mil for Tony, if I'm Bournemouth, I'm definitely looking at Nketiah and Solanke for that money.
mm,
Because they're going to need as many striking options as possible. Wissa's a decent player, but he's not as good as Embuemo. They could pawn him off somewhere. Embuemo would stay, and not that I'm a Bournemouth, you know,
mm.
fan or anything or supporter, but I just think that, like you said, they have decent players that can do something. Of course, they're about the same level as Brentford right now.
Yeah.
And if Brentford, I have 100 mil, I'm spending it wisely. You got to spend it wisely.
You got to spend it wisely. And again, on the contrary, yeah, I do really think that Eddie Nketiah is that kind of striker that could get 20 goals. He can, but not at Arsenal.
Yeah.
Not at Arsenal. Because at Arsenal, the stakes are so high, the
Mm,
pressure is so enormous, the fans are so impatient with him, that he wouldn't even really have the composure to actually just take a chill pill and try to slot the ball into the net. It's not like
right.
he's a totally dead player. You can see he has promise, but the thing there is that he's not. I don't. I just think that the pressure is so
Mm,
much on him to perform. And again, when you're in a big football club like Arsenal Football Club, the
right.
pressure will keep on, cramping down and you know coming down for you. So, i- if he goes to a club like Brentford, don't be surprised in his first season he could get even a 17 goal haul
Yeah.
in the first season. It's very possible. Mostly when Brentford's forward line,
Hmm.
with Ivan Tony was flourishing when they had Weiser coming through the left and Imbuemo coming through the right.
Right.
Good partnership down there. So eh, I just think that move would be better for Eddie Nketiah. Let
Hmm.
him go. Let him
Yeah,
go.
I agree.
He won't have pressure again. He will play within his own means, within his own space and
Hmm.
confines, and can be able to get himself into a more favorable position. But at Arsenal, I doubt it. High stakes, high reward, and he hasn't
Right.
lived up to expectations. He's down here with 100K a week. It's a waste, pure
Right.
wastage. We
Yeah,
don't need that
yeah.
kind of stuff down here. But again, I fear for the wages. I don't know if Brentford will want to take him with those wages. But again, it's down to Arsenal. Arsenal might have to pay part of his money because come on, man, none of these teams will actually want to give him 100 in a week.
Well, yeah, yeah, and I don't blame him because he doesn't have the pedigree to back up that command that kind of salary. Maybe like you said, his 17 goals at Brentford, then we can start talking about 100 grand a week or so. But yeah, I mean, I think Eddie, if he's smart, if he's a smart kid like I think he is, if they were to pay him 75 to 80 grand a week, but give him the number 9 shirt, and you're a crucial player, you start week in and week out. I think that's a more than a great offer for someone like Nketiah. 75 grand a week is a lot of money, bro.
So,
That's a
bro,
shit ton of money. That's 300 grand a month.
exactly, man.
Let's be realistic here,
It's
right?
a lot of money,
God,
man.
I'd love to make that kind of money. And one day we're going
God,
to make that kind of money, Tony, off this show. But we'll talk about that later. But let's
talk
be
about
realistic.
that.
If you're Eddie Nketiah, 75 grand a week, you get to play, wear the 9 shirt. You play every weekend. You play in all the cup games, just about every game. That's a good offer.
That's a good offer. It's a great, great offer. If I were him, I would take up that offer. See,
Mm-hmm.
Oregon Gunner, Luton away from home at Sheffield United.
Yeah,
Luton beating Sheffield United
yeah,
at home, 3 goals to 2. They're trying to pull away from that relegation battle.
yeah.
And see, you know what? Yeah, Arsenal actually struggled against Luton away from home.
Yeah,
Yeah, and again, it was very clear. Luton had very, very strong players. They turn it into a physical game, and that's what they've been doing with all these games. They're turning it into a Debo, into a
yeah.
Debo fest, yeah.
Play to your
into
strengths, right? You got to play to
exactly,
your
man. Play with
strengths.
the strengths, man. So just last weekend they beat Newcastle. This weekend again they're beating Sheffield. 6 points
Yeah,
in 2 weeks. What do you
yeah.
think, Luton? And we
I
struggle to win them.
I think that they're going to do this off and on probably the next couple of months, but then I think they're still going to get relegated. Um, but
Okay.
they may pull themselves out of it for a week or two. Depend on what their schedule looks like. If they've got, they got to play us again, right? And
Mm.
don't they come to the Emirates? I believe.
They come
So
to the Emirates
there's
because we
probably
went
some,
we
yeah,
went away. Yeah.
right. There's some top 6 teams I think they still have to play away. I still think they're relegation fodder. It's great that they're on a nice run, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, of course they're going to, beat. I mean, Sheffield and Luton kind of two of the same, right? So it's not surprising
Yeah.
that one beats the other and the other one beats the other, kind of even
Mm.
itself out, of course. But I just feel like they're still relegation fodder for sure. The last
Yeah.
end of the season, I think they're going to have probably more injuries pile up. They're going to have more tired legs. The substitutes aren't near as good as their starters. Um, but yeah, big up to Luton for at least pressing
Big
on
up
and
to
to
Luton.
get
Big
something.
up to Luton. Big up to
Yeah.
Luton. And actually, Liverpool have just doubled the
Mm,
lead. Oh my God, not again. They've just doubled the lead, against Burnley. Poor, poor Burnley,
terrible.
So, as it is, Oregon Gunner, Arsenal have to do the job themselves against West Ham. See, we cannot, yeah, I repeat, we cannot just leave it down to other teams and rely on these other teams to be
Hmm.
able to help us take away points from these big weeks. That's why that game we played against Liverpool really hurt because they were there for the taking. Arsenal, Liverpool, Arsenal last week. What were your thoughts? What did you think?
Um,
I really thought they were there for the taking, but what did you think?
right, and now that I've had time to watch the game again, watch highlights, I'm very very disappointed we didn't get 3 points out of that. My reaction at first was TJ and fam. Shout out TJ and Connor, American Idiots. My my first reaction was, oh well, we played good. We got out of there with a point. It's okay. Nah, bro, that first half we should have been up 3-0. Seriously, we should have been up 3-0. Martinelli missed a chance. Jesus missed a chance. I think Odegaard missed a chance. Kai Havertz, I think, even had a shine in there for a minute or two to put the ball in the back of the net. Yeah, it's. watching it again in hindsight, if you were watching that game again, we missed opportunities in the first half. Second half, we were absolutely abysmal.
Yeah.
I didn't think we'd get anything in the second half, but that first half, we should have closed the door on it, man. A missed opportunity, and I'm upset about it because we're starting to see patterns now. Like, how long is Jesus going to go with just missing open shots? How long are we going to go with Martinelli playing? I thought very good in the first
Oh, reckon
30.
doing it. Yo, I reckon
Well,
doing it.
playing
Yes.
first good in the first 30 minutes of the first half, right? I thought Martinelli was man of the match. He was running diagonals, pulling defenders away, but it's just his final touch is lacking. Jesus can't find the back of the net. And Saka I thought was better in the second half, but still just you double team him, he runs out of options. And
I really think
they were
Bukayo
there for
Saka is
taking the first
burnt
half.
out.
So I'm very
I
upset
think he's
now.
burnt out. I think Bukayo Saka
Yeah,
is burnt out. But again, we'll go to Bukayo Saka. But
sure.
again, you
Big
mentioned
attention.
something. Gabriel Martinelli. Gabriel Martinelli.
Yeah,
See, my brother, there was just a gaping. See, yeah, a goal that was gaping. Yeah,
yeah,
it was gaping.
right.
Martinelli just time. See, uh, a, a 10-year-old kid will score that goal, man. It was just open. It was
Yeah,
open.
our
Just stick
finishing
it
is not good.
straight, and it will go into the net. What was he thinking? See, Martinelli's game and his development has been truncated, man. We're not getting enough from Gabriel Martinelli. What are your thoughts on this? He can't even score an open goal, mind you. In the other game, and
Hmm.
this has happened back to back games now. In the
Right,
last game, he had an open net to score a
right,
goal, and the same thing. He blew the ball away. So he hasn't been scoring this season.
right.
It doesn't mean he hasn't been putting in performances in some games, but for the past 4 or 5 games, he's been looking drained and empty, and he can't even time he can't time himself. He can't put in balls to into positions to allow our striker to score goals.
Hmm.
Is abysmal in front of goal. What has
Yeah,
happened to
I
Gabriel Martinelli?
I think it's the same kind of disease that's happening in Osaka. You double team them and they run out of ideas,
Jeez.
right? And this is where I get frustrated because we watch a little bit of our neighbors, the Spurs, and it's funny how their wingers find open areas right now. Brennan Johnson finding open areas, Sun open areas, Kulu open areas, and we see the movement that they do with the ball. You know, and I just don't know
Kulusevski.
why
Kulusevski.
right.
Kulusevski.
I don't know why
Yes.
we can't match that when we know that our players are even, if not a little bit better. And our pal Deji may disagree with that, but I think when you break it down, you've got to say that Saka is better than Kulo. You can't, and Son and Martinelli. I'm going to give that to Son for sure. I mean, there's no contest. But
There's no
it's
contest.
like for me, I've wanted so bad for Martinelli to play up front because he just needs to be able to have his body in the right spot with the ball at his feet, and he will score. But to have him do what he's trying to do outside the box with his head down, looking up for the lob passes, trying to run around defenders. But he's not pulling defenders away. He's actually pulling them towards himself and losing the ball. How many times did we see him lose the ball over the weekend? It just wasn't happening for him, and it really hasn't been. He's kind of been found out. But this is where it's on Arteta to make those changes. You could easily put Jesus on the left and Martinelli up front.
Hmm.
I would give that a go, but I don't think you're going to get anything different. And that's the thing. We're still, I think, in that mode of trying to score that perfect goal while we see our friends Tottenham shooting from all outside the box,
Shooting
mixing
from
it
all.
up,
Oh
running
my
together.
God.
And I haven't watched much of Spurs, but what I did watch the other day, against Everton, it's like it's night and day. And we played them earlier in the season. They got the draw at the Emirates. I think if we go to the toilet bowl and Martinelli's in the same form as he is and Saka's in the same form, they're going to freaking annihilate us, bro. We're not going to have a chance against the Tottenham Hotspurs when we go to the toilet bowl stadium because they
Oh my
spread
God.
the field out so much. And that's the thing. The way they spread out the pitch is is we try and do that, but everybody plays inverted. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like if we lose the ball against someone like Tottenham or even Aston Villa, like we saw, that played use expand
Yeah.
their formation with the pitch,
Mm.
spread out all the angles they can. That's why we're getting cooked. And then by the time we get the ball, we're so inverted that it's just a bunch of people running around.
Bunch of
You
people running around, man.
Organized. It looks
It's
disorganized in
horrible.
the third.
It's
Right now,
horrible.
I think it'll get better. Right, it comes and goes. Right, the form comes and goes. But if we're expected to play the way we are at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, or go to Nightmare of the Theater of Nightmares, and perform like we are now, those teams will beat us. I mean, I know United are in the mud; they're terrible, but let's be real. If we play in our form right now, they could beat us, bro,
They
because
could
we're
beat us.
not making things
I
happen.
agree.
We're
I
just not
agree.
making
I
things
agree.
happen.
I
You
agree.
know?
See, before we go to Martin Odegaard, who had a stinker,
Right.
although AFTV and some other people are saying that he had a good game, I didn't see it. But again, we'll talk
Yeah.
about that. That's the last. We save the best for the last. What has happened to Bukayo Saka? I think he's burnt out. I think Bukayo Saka is burnt out just after
Mhm.
17, 18 games. He's
Yeah.
burnt out.
Reese Nelson can't get a sniff.
Right,
I
exactly. Rhys
why are you
Nelson
not
can't get a
playing
sniff.
Reese
Emmy Smith
Nelson?
Rowe can't get a sniff, and they can
Right.
both play,
Right wing.
the
Yeah.
right wing where
It's,
Bukayo Saka is playing.
he has
So
he
if
has no
Bukayo
trust
is
in him,
burnt
bro.
out, why can't these players come in and have a go? Have it, just have an opportunity, a
Right.
fair chance, a fair opportunity to come down there and try and do something.
The way we've treated Reese Nelson this year is despicable because he wanted to leave in the summertime. And we had a 30 to $35 million transfer route to get him out because we knew this was going to happen. He was going to score the wonder goal at Bournemouth, and he's done F all since. He hasn't had time, so he's not really match fit. I mean, maybe he is. No one knows because there's no. I mean, I just think this point in time, even though, yeah, we were top yesterday, we're still scoring goals in the 89th minute. We still are scoring goals from penalties, and we're not getting penalties in the last 2 or 3 games, which haven't really been penalties. I mean, to me, the last real penalty we should have or goal called off was the Newcastle game with the push on Gabriel, but that's centuries ago now. We probably should have gotten a penalty against West Ham. Villa, maybe. Who knows? And so now we were relying on those penalties at the beginning of the season. We were relying on 89-minute goals. Now those 89th-minute goals aren't happening. The penalties aren't happening, and rightly so. I don't, like I said before, I don't think every single one of them is a pen. Maybe there's one in there, but it's like we're completely relying on Declan Rice now to do everything. We're
Oh my
completely
God.
relying on our back four to do everything. We're
Hmm.
giving excuses to Saka and Martinelli for not performing, and we're not playing players who, to be honest, at this point in time, are equally as good. Reese Nelson is equally as good as Saka because Saka ain't doing shit.
He
Martinelli
ain't
ain't doing
doing shit.
shit. Reese
That's the
Nelson
fact.
is ready
That's
to
the
do
fact. I
something.
agree with you. I agree with you, Oregon Guna, because Bukayo Saka, see, he isn't really doing anything. This
Right?
season it's been shit. I'm sorry, man. In the past 6, 7 games, he hasn't influenced games at all. It's as good as bringing in Rhys Nelson to come and do something, to come and put in a shit because Bukayo Saka hasn't influenced the game in any way. So something is wrong with the system. It's either something is wrong with the system or Bukayo Saka is outrightly burnt out. I will go for the second one. I
Me
think he's
too.
burnt out. We've overused this guy. Last season, the most overused player. This
Yeah.
season, injuries upon injuries creeping into Bukayo Saka. We kept putting him and fielding him to play, and this is the result. This is what we get.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we get for
Yeah.
overusing him. He's tired. You can just see he's bereft of ideas. He can't make
What,
1, 2 runs again. He's tired. He can't even
what did
shoot a shot again.
what did we say last week on the show? This was the game against Liverpool for Saka to make a statement. That's exactly what we talked about. I said it was
Yeah,
going to be a
we talked
2-1
about that.
Arsenal win with a Saka brace because this was going to be the game that he comes out of his shell a bit. And what happened? We saw some glimpses, But just like a tortoise, he stuck his head right back in the shell come the second half. And I think you're right. It's because he's tired and overplayed. There's nothing wrong with the system, right? I mean, the system has been winning us games essentially, but it's just if and then you hit the nail on the head. If we don't strengthen and get Reese Nelson out and ESR out for players that Arteta is actually going to use, then we're going to just going to bottle it. We're just not even going to be there. Like it's going to be a Villa, Liverpool, City race at the end if we don't do big moves in January. And I said
in
before on the
January.
show, I said 7 to 9 players out by the summer. 7 to 9 players out, bro.
Uh, guys, see guys in the chart here. Liverpool Burnley game has just ended, and just like that, Liverpool are top of the league.
Right.
Yeah,
That's your point.
guys. See, guys. Let's call a spade a spade. Yeah, we were top of the league. Yeah, it's so easy. It's so easy because we've not established, a very big kind of gap between us and the second position team. We've not established any gap at all. So anything can happen right now. We
Right.
see even in if you even check this out, yeah, we even still have a chance to even go out of the top four. Do you believe that?
We could have Villa beat United today. I think we're third because they'll be
Just
tied
like
with
that,
Liverpool.
just like that, we could move from first, yeah, we could move to first to fifth. To be very sincere with you, not talk of if City, get certain
Oh,
points in certain
yep.
places
They'll be
and
above.
move up the ladder again. They
Oh, yeah.
have one game in hand also. So all these things, yeah, that's why when people are saying, "Hey, we're top of the league, we're top of the league," it could just change hands immediately, quickly, swiftly,
Yeah.
just like what Liverpool have done. They've gone to beat Burnley away from home, and right now they're sitting 42 points, 2 points ahead of
Right.
Arsenal. We do okay, yeah,
I'm sorry, just to be clear, too, I watched most of that Liverpool first half. They beat them easily. I think it was only 2-0, but let's
mm,
be real. Like, we struggle with Burnley. We struggle with Luton. We struggle with Sheffield. And this is the problem we're going to have, I think. It's more than just strengthening in January, it's going
yeah,
there and winning those games,
yeah,
right? Tottenham are not going to lose those games, right? Aston Villa are not going to lose those games. City, who knows?
who
But
knows?
the Liverpool thing is that they go to Burnley and I'm sure they beat them handily. I'm sure there was 20 plus shots to
Mm,
Burnley's 5 or 6, right?
exactly, man.
And we need to do the same. And right now, I don't see us capable of getting more than 10 shots at Burnley.
Oh my God, man, it's not really looking good. But again, we always have an opportunity, right? There's a general
Right.
transfer window just around the corner. But see,
Sure.
yeah, Martin Odegaard. Shout out to Deji Spores, yeah, shaking his
Sure,
bum in the
David.
chart, yeah, shaking his bum. I know he would say, "Hey, Arsenal is no longer first in the league." How about you, brother? Where are you in the league? Deji Spores, where are you? But again, see, yeah, let's forget hostilities. Yeah, they just was trying to, rattle,
Absolutely.
trying to rattle Arsenal fans. But thanks for popping into the show, Deji Spores. Yeah, see, Oregon Guna,
Mm,
um, Martin Odegaard, his performance against Liverpool, it was shocking, man. It left a bad taste in my mouth. It was falling down. It was
right.
falling. It was giving out fouls, throwing the ball away. Like I don't really understand. I don't know what he did on the day. I'm sorry. And as far as I'm concerned, he considered a penalty that wasn't given to
Mm,
Liverpool Football Club. Even Saliba came out and said, "Hey, I'm sorry. That looked like a penalty to me."
hmm Uh, Odegaard's really casting a real interesting character now because I saw some ratings that are giving him sevens and eights. And I saw some ratings that were giving him threes and fours. And I don't know what to really expect from him right now. I don't know like what he's really trying to do. I mean, I know the
Yeah,
obvious, right? He's trying to push the team, score goals, blah blah blah. But it just seems like he's slow, bro. There's times he gets on the ball and you think he's going to have that quick movement. and he just takes too long on the ball,
Mm,
and I feel like and I know he's trying to find the pass, the perfect pass, but that doesn't always exist,
mm,
and that's why I look at the other teams and I see their midfielders making something out of nothing,
mm.
right? And Odegaard doesn't really do that. It's
Yeah.
like if he's not doing what he does, then he's kind of useless. He's not the best at defending. Let's be honest. He ran into Zinchenko on that corner kick when they were 6-on-1. Thank God we
Oh,
had
you
Jeff
you saw
Price.
that. You saw that, right? You
Of course I
saw
saw
that,
that.
right?
Oh, I
Oh
thought
my
it was over.
God.
I threw
Oh,
my hat in the air. I was like, fuck it, that's done now.
oh
And
my.
luckily Trent Alexander hit the ball in the bounce and put it on the crossbar. Other than that, it
Oh
was a
gosh.
loss, right? I mean, it just makes us look stupid. And that's where it's like, how it starts. It starts to really be realized, Tony, why he's been shipped from club to club to club.
Mm,
Why he's been at Molde. Was fantastic there. It's Molde. Of course he's going to be fantastic. Real Madrid sent him on loan for 3 seasons at Real Sociedad, I believe. One of the
mm,
longest loans that I think any Madrid player has probably ever done, right?
exactly.
So he was there for 3 seasons, does okay at Sociedad. He never got him the Champions League. He never won him a Copa del Rey. I mean, they did okay, right? I think he was
Mm,
the star maybe one of those 3 seasons. Goes
mm.
back to Madrid, sits around for 2, 3 seasons. He's not involved in any of their Champions League runs where they win three in a
True.
row, 3 out of the 5. He's not even in the
Mm.
squad. So there's about 5 years where he's at Madrid, really, or 4 years, really doing nothing. And then
Doing nothing.
Arsenal comes along, and and we're expecting that he's at Arsenal, and we have seen glimpses of brilliance. I'm not going to completely trash the guy. There's some games he is absolutely phenomenal in, but when it comes down to there's just a lack of spine and intensity that this kid has. And I
Mm.
think that's been found out at Madrid. It's been found out at Sociedad. Why didn't Sociedad buy him after 2.5, 3 seasons on loan?
Exactly.
I
The-
why would you not
yeah.
purchase him if he was doing something? And
Exactly.
it all, you start to think about these things, and it's like, well, you can kind of see, yeah, he was considered a prodigy at 16, 17. He's 24 now, and so the 7 years he's been bouncing around, it's just hasn't really worked for him. And I know Arsenal's his home, and he feels at home here, but I just want to see more of a more dynamic player and not someone who's so worried about, I think, what the crowd thinks.
Yeah.
Every time he's hyping up, and I mean, I like that, I get that, but it just seems sometimes he does it at points where it's not necessary, and I would rather his concentration be what's going on in the moment than
What's
worried about
going on
other
in the
things.
moment? Exactly.
I think that he
Mm,
just has things on his mind that are not related to football because the
yeah.
concentration levels there, I don't think, are there for a
Because
lot
yeah,
of.
exactly, exactly. And again, mind you, we also talked about that Liverpool game being a game that Arsenal should actually they were there for the taking because there
Right.
is nothing so smooth about this Liverpool team. They're still, trying to lend their onions in this league. They have an entirely new and different midfield.
Right.
That's why they're not kicking on in their games. Actually, that's just it. The midfield is kind of new. They're just trying to
Mhm.
reshuffle things, trying to bring the band together and try to
These
have a
are
go.
injuries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. They had Gravenbach from the German Bundesliga. They have Dominic Szoboszlai who just came in.
Great player.
They have McAllister who just came in from a Brighton Football Club. It's just different kind of talent, yeah, pulled
Mhm.
together, brought into a team, and now they're playing. That isn't a recipe to winning the league because they still have to band together. They have to connect
Right.
together. But again, for that new midfield to kind of like outmuscle the Arsenal midfield,
Mm.
that's something totally,
It's
totally different.
disgraceful.
It's not acceptable. And
Yeah.
right now, uh, uh, um, one of the most not a consistent player, but see, one of our highest goal scorers this season, Kai Havertz, is out of the game from West Ham. So now
Oh,
something
okay.
needs to happen. A new player has to come back into the fray. But before we go into that West Ham game, very,
Sure.
very important. The importance of a striker to this team,
Mm.
man. We saw Martinelli couldn't score a goal. We've seen Bukayo Saka is burnt out. Gabriel
Right.
Jesus, who should even at least be trying to get into certain areas and certain positions in the team, I'm sorry, he's nowhere to be found. We have a big strikers problem, man. How
Hmm.
what should we do before we get into the January transfer window? The January transfer window is about, probably maybe in a 5 days time,
Yeah.
we'll be into the new January
Mhm.
transfer window. But again, do we have to wait? Like, what should we do to be able
Um,
to just galvanize and change our lot from the 18-year box? Our strikers aren't scoring.
yeah. Well, you need to get Ivan Toney to sign on the dotted line tonight and make his commitment to Arsenal Football Club, and then January 1st, he gets thrown the number 12 shirt or something, right?
Exactly.
That's what we need to
Exactly.
see happen. We need to make these buys now. When did we
Mm,
bring Jorginho in January? Oh, about the third week, right? That's the problem, and I
mm.
think at times we have addressed that problem because we have made early signings, right?
Yeah.
Declan Rice, Timber in July, et cetera. And
Yeah.
we are, I think, better at that. I think that's been a known issue at the club. Arsenal do business late, right?
Yeah.
And when we've done that, we've gotten screwed on players, right? We've paid over the odds, and we've gone shopping again, like I've said, in the Honda store and not in the Ferrari store. So
Mm,
now that we've broken the 100 million threshold, right, we should be able to spend that again in the
yeah.
summer.
In the
January,
summer.
I can understand if we're not spending 100 million, but if Tony's available, he's fit, he's ready to go, he's ready to sign on the dotted line, and it's roughly going to be 90 to 100 million signing. I would do the Arsenal business. I would come in at 80, 85 mil to test the waters, and if they
Mm.
say, okay, we'll take 90, sign it at 90, get him on the dotted line. So January 2nd, he wears the shirt. I mean, I don't.
Oregon Gunner, we should be spending up to 180
Yeah,
million
spend
in the
it.
January transfer window. If we are serious of winning the league this season,
Right.
if we are, see, it's simple. If we are serious of winning the league, of course, at the turn of next year, next year, we
Mm.
should go in and bring in a striker. Right now, Brentford have already slapped 100 million price tag on Ivan Tony. So 100 million, pay
Go
it
get him.
or take it or leave it. Yeah, exactly. So now, if we go in and pay £10 million for Brentford's Ivan Tony, what about the midfield? Look at Odegaard, who is going to create chances for
Mm.
Ivan Tony to score. So even if we still bring in a striker, we will still be in the same position yet again. And this time, there
Well,
won't be no one to actually create chances for Ivan Tony to score. So
well,
instead of having all these excuses,
I get your point.
go
I
get
get your
in a
point. How does
Zubimendi
it make
right
the
now.
ball? Right.
We are
But
still we are still even. I'm sorry, we're still even waiting for Saliba to drop before we go and get a defender.
right, right.
These are the problems. So we need a defender. We need a
Right.
midfielder, at least a Zubramendi from a Real Sociedad. We need a defender. I heard a defender called Inacio should be coming in
Yep.
from
Portuguese.
Sporting Lisbon, but that's unknown. That's unknown.
But
So
he's very sought after too. He's sought after by
he's a
all
very
top
sought
clubs.
after,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
very sought after defender. If that
He's
one can go across the line, I would really like it. He can come in and do a shift for both Gabriel and for both this guy Saliba, because he can play both sides too. So he's a great guy and I like him. Very
Mhm.
skillful player also, and he also can score goals to Inacio. I remember that guy. He scored against us in the game against
Oh
Sporting
yeah,
Lisbon when we
yeah.
when we were
He's good.
ousted out of the Europa League. And even apart from that, man, Oregon Gunner, most importantly, we need someone who will come into this football club and give Bukayo Saka a breather, a
Mm.
breather, a space to breathe, a
Right,
space to live again, a
right,
space to live again, a space
right.
to breathe. Yeah? What do you
Yeah.
think, my brother, man? And you
Well,
want to say
I
something
mean,
too?
Ivan Tony has to work, and I think Ivan Tony will improve Odegaard.
Mm,
I think Ivan Toney will be more available as a target for Odegaard.
yeah.
Yeah, he's just a better all around player than Nketiah. He's more of a striker than Jesus.
Mm,
So the Odegaard thing worries me because what you said is true. Is
Mm,
that he needs a top striker to work with, right? And I think
yeah.
Ivan Toney fits that bill. Now,
Mm,
Deji puts in the chat if I think Edu's going to spend 100 million in January, and the only, and I'm going to just say, kind of yes at this point, only if it's really someone like Ivan Toney and a player that will make a complete
Oregon gonna pause.
impact.
Pause, Oregon Guinea.
If
Are you confident that we're going to? No, let me wait.
I'm confident that
Oregon
they'll
Guinea, the
spend the
way
money
you
on
said
the right
that, yeah,
player.
the way you
I'm,
said that with chest, man. Come on,
Yeah, I
bruv.
know. Well,
Are you sure we're going to spend 100 million
I
on
think
Ivan
because
Tony?
I think if Ivan, I do, and here's the reason why.
Wow.
Because we've been after him so long, and I think Edu has known the price is going to go up. They offer him a contract right away; it's going to go up even more, right? That's what we've been wanting to avoid is getting him in before he signs a contract at Brentford. Because once he signs that contract, the price goes way up. And that's where I think Brentford's getting their 100 million from, is they think he's going to sign for them and then switch to Arsenal, is what I think Brentford are thinking. Is that yeah, he's going to
Yeah.
sign in the preliminary time just to get back into the good graces of Brentford in the EPL from betting. But his agent is pushing for him to go to Arsenal. So that's such a tough question. I mean, because I think the money's there. To think that the money's not there, I think is foolish. Having the money there and spending it, I know are two different things. But
Mm.
Ivan Tony's been someone we've talked about now for a full season,
For a full
and if
season, yeah.
for a
But
full
but
season,
mind you, but again, that was when his price tag was about 70. Right now, the price tag is 100 million, my
right,
brother. It's
right,
something different, man. It's
asinine. I know he's not worth 100 million,
a
right?
hundred
And
million
that's what's hard for me to spend the money. But in reality, you know what? If that's the guy we're after, and that's the price tag, it comes again to Arsenal just paying it. But
play.
I have a hard time with it, Tony. Don't get me wrong. Don't misunderstand it. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Go for it. I'm only saying that because it's not my
Oh my
money.
god.
I don't
Yeah,
care
exactly.
what the club spends. It doesn't. If we need to take a loan from Kroenke, great. If we need to take a loan, from one of his other franchises to you know, borrow from Peter to pay Paul, I don't care. I don't care.
Just
I
get
just
it
want
done.
that
Get the
we can.
deal done.
But Des
Get
just
the
got
deal
a good
done.
question. Is
That's Oregon. That's
done.
Oregon Gunners' message to the chart. Get the deal done. It's not our money. We need Ivan Tony. He's 100 million. Get the money. Get it done. That's his message. But see, yeah, Malia, you said Deji, stop trolling. See, but let's see what you. Okay, no, it's the assembler that said that stop trolling. But let's see if Deji is actually trolling the assembled. Look at what he said, Tony. If you lot don't strengthen and get the right players, come January, I'm sorry, it's gonna be another bottle job. It's not trolling. That's a statement of fact. See, guys, I'm a very fair person. Of
Just
course,
going
I
from the
don't like the
past.
discourse in the chat, but
Yeah,
I'm a very fair person. This is the truth. It's going to be another bottle job because we need to strengthen. So this is not trolling. This is statement of fact.
right. And
If
Deji, I
we
think
don't go in and do that business by January, Oregon Gunner,
yeah,
we're gone.
it's
We
Pete.
are gone. We're
Pete,
gone.
right. And you could say the same to Deji, saying if you don't strengthen, you will, maybe not have the opportunity to stay in the top five. Right? I mean, he's not
Yeah, in
trolling.
the grand scheme of things,
A
yeah,
very
yeah,
good
yeah.
statement. He's not saying anything that any Arsenal fan hasn't said. We know we need to strengthen in January. But if that strengthening comes with getting Tony, the player we've identified for, several months now,
Mm.
and it's compared to 70 million, like you said, to 30 million. What is 30 million, bro, if you're spending 70, right? I mean, in real life terms, that's ridiculous. But the thing
That's
is that
ridiculous.
we will get so much more money for winning the league. We'll get the TV rights money. I'm sure we have the money now. But my issue is, Tony, is that, and I think you've hit on this as well. We spend the money, 100 mil on Ivan Tony. Where does that leave the midfield? Where does that leave the winger? Where does
The
that leave
winger,
the center
an
back?
extra defender. It's
Right? An
true.
extra defender. Where is the funds going to be for that? That's when my
Exactly.
wheels start turning and I get worried because then I'm like, well, shit, I want this guy, and this guy. Well, hell, I'm talking another 100 plus million now. I mean, Neto's going to be 50, 60 million. Uh, Zubamendi's 50 million, right? We know that from his release clause. And if there's another midfielder out there, yeah, bring him in because El Neni needs to go. Zinchenko needs to go. I mean, I went down the list, Cedric, etc. And
Fabio is injured. Fabio Vieira is injured. Smith
Vieira, he
Rowe
can
can get a
go.
sniff in the team even
Rowe
if
can
it's
go.
okay. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. We're in
Right.
trouble.
If they're not
We're in
going to play
trouble.
these players or they have long, long injury records, it's time to cut the string. I'm tired
Mm.
of pulling these players around. It's the same crap we went through with Robin Van Persie. He had one great, we basically babied him for 2 years on the bench with his injuries. He had one fantastic season, and then we fucking sold him to United.
He
And I
bailed
just
out on us. He
want
wanted
that.
to leave.
What's that?
Hmm.
He wanted to leave, right? Because he saw that Arsenal was going nowhere at that point in time.
Exactly. So of course, man.
But we still
He
paid him at
looked
the
at
end
our
of
transfer strategy.
still money
He
to do
said,
nothing.
"These guys aren't serious. These guys don't want to win the league." Of
Right.
course, he's looking at it. It's like these guys are not serious. They don't
And
want
it's
to
out
win the
of
league. Look at the people they're going to bring.
yeah,
And Alex Ferguson wanted him. He needed him.
right.
He watched the project, and of course, he went down there and he won a premiership, won a title for them. And this is a guy who
You
actually
roll.
nursed these injuries. Yeah, in the treatment
Yeah,
table at Arsenal Football Club. Shout out to Ellie Doors TV. Yeah, Ollie Doors TV. I
yeah,
wanted to
brother.
send you a message later today, this evening. I need you for a
But
preview for the West Ham game tomorrow. But I would see if you have time, good. If you don't have time, no problem. But it would be nice to have you on the channel. And he says, Eddie Doors Football TV says, big up Tony Claude and in famous style. Happy
yeah,
Boxing
buddy.
Day. Happy Boxing Day to you, Ellie Doors TV. See, that opens up the next phase, the final phase of this show, Arsenal versus West Ham.
Mm,
See, we're playing at home. It's a cute London derby, yeah. It has all the whole trappings of big time drama. London Derby, we have to play, we have to win. It's a home game. I know we're not that good at home. I know we don't keep clean sheets at home, but we do also gloss over some certain kind of games and win
right.
at the Emirates this season, yeah. But again, this game is coming at the time that Arsenal is still a little bit fragile. We
Mhm.
just came back from a draw. We played against Brighton. Yeah, we won. We came from scrappy wins against Luton and the rest of them. Yeah, but again, let's throw that all away. Yeah, in
Right.
this game, we won't be having Kai Havertz. It's not gonna be there. Um,
Mhm.
we have to bring someone off the bench, and that's Trossard. What's the effect of this? Um, there's also something else again from the mental point of view. Mind you, West Ham have won on us this season. Mind you, they dumped us out of the Carabao Cup.
Yep.
I think Carabao Cup round of 16. They dumped us out of that competition. They have the mental edge over us this season because they've actually done it against us this season. They've beaten us this
Right.
season. So
Right.
that mental edge belongs to them as they come into this game against Arsenal. What do you think about this Arsenal versus West Ham game? It's a London derby. Do you think we're going to approach it as a London derby and do it that way, or do you think Arsenal have that extra bit of quality to just take it to take it to them and beat these guys? After all, we're at home.
I hope. Well, yeah, we are at home, so we need to take advantage of that. I think we'll be looking for to get the point, all 3 points. I think Arteta is going to probably. I think you're right. Trossard's going to slot in where Havertz is, and that should be the only change to the lineup.
Hmm.
Um, I I worry about Jared Bowen. I think in the last West Ham game that they played, he was playing up top,
Mm,
and I know that's kind of a gutsy move for Moyes to pull him off the right wing. But when you can put Lucas Paqueta there or another fast pacey player, I think
yeah,
Jared Bowen up front is going to cause us immense problems. If he
yeah,
plays Bowen up front, it's going to be peak. And Saliba and Gabriel are going to have to be on his game because Jared
mm,
Bowen has the last couple seasons been one of the standout players in the Prem, in my opinion, if not one
yeah,
of the top players in the Prem right now.
mm,
Um, Fast, quick, we're going to have problems. And the only weaknesses I really see is I think their midfield is pretty decent with Suchek in there. Their defense, I think, can be got at, though. I think I'm going to say it's
Mm,
similar to what I did against Liverpool. If Jesus can get in there and cause some problems, right? If he can be a
mm,
menace, then
mm.
maybe we can get something. But if Martinelli and Saka perform like they did against Liverpool, we'll get nothing. If Jesus
We're
performs
doomed.
like he did
We're
against
doomed if
Liverpool,
that happens. We're doomed.
but we need someone like Trossard, Rice, Odegaard to step up because it's really just not happening for our front three right now. Um, and if I'm Arteta, I go out on a limb. Maybe I rest Jesus and put Martinelli in the middle and Trossard on the left, and maybe bring ESR in on the left mid. We know that's not going to happen. So in reality, what I want and what's going to happen are completely two different things. But the thing is that if we don't contain Jared Bowen, if we don't contain Lucas Paqueta, or whatever the hell his name is, and keep Socek somewhat
Paqueta,
Paqueta, thank you, they will beat us. But
definitely. And
I hope manage. I just think we'll pull out of there. But I do think we'll pull out of there with a victory. I always got to be positive, bro.
but but again, West Ham have been looking good in
Yeah.
the past at least in the past 4 games, which includes their European game that they played within the last 3-4 weeks. Yeah, in 4 games they've only lost one, and again, there's no disgrace and no complete shame in losing against Liverpool. They lost against Liverpool 5-1, but apart from that, they've beaten I think Freiburg. They bit Wolves. They bit Manchester United. They have
Yep.
quite big names that they've beaten this season, and in the past 4 games, they've won three. Actually, only
Yeah.
lost one to Liverpool. And like I said, I'll reiterate it: there is no shame losing to
Not
Liverpool
at all. Not at
this
all.
season,
We almost won.
mostly away from home at Anfield.
Right.
That
If Trent
slaughterhouse.
Alexander had his finishing boots on, we'd be down 2-1 and talking about a loss.
Exactly. There's completely no shame losing to Liverpool, mostly when you go to play in the slaughterhouse called Anfield. But again, West Ham are looking good. They have all the whole trappings,
Yep.
of a team that can come in and strike a deadly blow to you home and away. Bowen is looking good.
Yep.
They have players that can hurt you if you kind of like look at them some type of way.
Mhm.
Like if you don't handle Lucas Paqueta quite well,
Oh, yeah.
you will get injured. You
You're
you will
punished.
get yeah, you get punished at the end of the day because they have players at the end of the day that can actually change the whole scenery. But again, there's also someone we're not also talking about, someone who was linked to Arsenal. Kudus, what do you think?
It just gets
Kudus.
worse and worse, doesn't it?
It
Kudus was
gets
the one.
worse, man. It
Thank you.
gets worse.
Kudus was the player I was thinking of. I couldn't think of his name. I knew they had a pacey winger, right? That's him. So if Bowen's up front and he's on the right, it's going to be peak because he is phenomenal.
Guess
He is a
who's guess who,
phenomenal
guess who's
player.
standing behind the striker? Guess who's standing behind the striker?
Kudos is that number 10, isn't he?
James Ward-Prowse.
Right, right, because he's
Uh,
part of the Rice wing. Yeah,
it's
I,
gonna be
yeah,
it's gonna be trouble, man. It's like
yeah,
Thriller in Manila on
yeah,
Thursday,
yeah,
man, at the
true. Still
Emirates,
in the
man.
coat for sure. Yeah, I know, and it's weird to say that about a sixth or seventh place team because you think we have that much class. But let's be honest, our front three are not that good right now, and we're going to be relying on our midfield to score goals like we have the last few weeks. This has a Declan Rice 2-1 89th minute winner written all over it. Um, yeah, I early doors should be very, very up for this match.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
should. He should. He'll
you know,
fancy his chances. He'll fancy
yeah,
his chances.
I've still got to. I'll put my prediction out, Tony. I've still got to go 3-1 Arsenal because I think we will have that bite of us at home, and there will be. Odegaard will have more room on the ball because I think he'll be a little more dominant in that midfield. But we'll see. If Ward Prowse is all over him, if Kudos is
But
the one
but
attached to
but
him,
what makes you feel that Odegaard is going to
because I feel that
find that
Odegaard.
form in this midfield? Why?
Well, because he can, but because there is spots where he can open up. If Ward Prowse is too far back and comes back to
Okay.
defend, right? That's gonna tighten up them in the box, but it's going to leave
Mm,
more space for Odegaard. And I've always said that he needs room to move. If he can
yeah.
get the ball in the right positions, we can hurt that defensive line. even if James Ward-Prowse has to come all the way back as the number 10, basically, right? So you have Suchek and Ward-Prowse defending. I think if they're not smushed on the Odegaard like his shadow or a tattoo, that's what I think his strengths are, right? He can move the ball in the final third. Now, scoring goals, that's a whole nother topic. But I think if we can press West Ham in their half and have Odegaard spraying balls around and not get completely pressed out of position, then yeah, I think there's something there for sure. I go into all these positive, Tony, especially if they're at home. And I know we have I mean, even early doors might admit, we have a touch more of class, than their squad overall. You look at us on paper. I mean, yeah, if somebody's going to bet, if you place money, you place your money on the Arsenal at home. So, and we need to be better than we were. Big up, Paul. And we needed to
Big
be
up,
better.
Paul. Big up, Drew Gunner.
Yeah, with Paul and Drew Gunner. So I just, we need to be better than at Liverpool. And, we didn't lose at Liverpool, even though it felt like a loss. But I don't know. We just pick up and go again. I would rather have West Ham than City or, Villa or somebody, I guess. You can't really choose who you play.
Yeah.
In front of you. But I think if we can press them in their half and let Odegaard do what he can do with the ball and not get, high pressured up the pitch, then I think we'll be okay. But who's going to score the goals, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, and see, Oregon Gunner, there's just one particular one that we did not talk about. It escaped our minds, yeah. But just when I was reminded that Kudus is coming to town, and then I remembered we're in trouble. Zinchenko. Zinchenko. Shout
Yeah.
out to Tony Montana. Tony Montana is sitting in the charts. Big ups to Drew Gunner. Big up to you guys. Legend, absolutely legend. Malia is down here. Elidos is still down here. The Assembled is down here. Thank you. Oregon Gunner. Zinchenko. Zinchenko. After that performance against
Mm,
Liverpool, we're screwed. We are screwed if Timber doesn't come back and save us and become our savior and become the
I
Messiah
know, but that's a
to come
long way
to save
off.
us in that defense. We are in trouble. We are in
Yeah,
trouble if that
I
guy keeps
wouldn't
defending.
expect September till March or April, bro. I'm sorry. They can hype him up all they want in social media until he's ready. I mean, he's still got to get match fit and all that shit. So, yeah, it's going to be peak against Zinni and Kudos. Gosh
Um,
dang it, Tony, you're always
Guys,
in
let that
ruining my
sink. Let
fun.
that sink in. Let what Oregon Gunner said. Let it sink in. Let it marinate.
Yeah, I
Wait,
know.
guys,
Kudos is
imagine.
so
Just imagine. Kudus versus Zini. We are in trouble. We're screwed on Thursday. I'm sorry.
Dude,
See
my
that matchup.
confidence
Yeah,
in one
it,
stare
it
at a time.
potentially has the whole trappings of a grilling on the day.
Mm,
It's gonna be.
right.
See, guys. Yeah, it's gonna be rough. Kudus, Zini, we are in trouble because the guy can't defend Oregon Good. He can't
Yeah,
defend. He
I know.
can't defend.
I know. It's like I was telling the reaction show. I was telling TJ, if I'm left back and that ball's coming to Sala way deep, if I'm left back, I'm knocking Sala on his ass, and he doesn't even touch that ball.
Exactly.
I mean,
Oh my
I'm getting
God.
a yellow card for that.
You guys don't want to bring Oregon Gunner back from retirement, man.
I'm not, yeah, bro. Yeah, you don't want to bring me back as a
You
left
don't
back. I'm
want to bring
a left
Oregon
back,
Gunner back from
but I'll
retirement.
give it. But I'm sure there's times I could do better than Zinni. And I know
Exactly.
that if I see a ball lobbed over my head and it's going and going, then I'm not going to get it. That I need to take
Exactly.
the
Because
attacking player.
Oregon Gunner would just be like, I started this gangster shit. Look at
Yeah,
the motherfucking thanks I get.
bro. I
How
put an
is it
elbow in his face.
possible?
I do all that shit.
Exactly, man. Because
I
you're
just,
looking at the defending and it's so horrible, and
yeah.
you know that you could, if it's you, you're gonna put in a tackle. How do you allow Salah just have that cut in there? And oh
And
my
it,
God, it was even
it's when his
nutmeg
body will
like
dribble the
twice on
ball
that
in
man.
front of you. Fucking
Cini is
terrible.
it's
He's
trash.
not
It's
awful.
trash.
He's
It's
trash. Yeah,
awful, man.
I'm
It's
I'm
awful.
done with him. I
It's
am.
awful.
I should really take a look and really just be done with him. I really am. I mean, he's been on my player clear out for January and next
For
summer.
January, you've been saying it, man. He needs
He's,
to go. Time is up. He needs to go.
it's going to be peak and kudos isn't as good as Sala obviously, but he's damn close.
It's
I think
them
he's
close. It's them
damn
close.
close. I think Liverpool could
Mostly,
play
mostly with that
his phone
pace,
and say, "Yeah, you're
that
32."
pace. He has
Right.
that pace, and even
In the
throw away the
passion.
pace altogether. Away, throw away the pace. I'm talking of his accuracy. He has accuracy. He's athletic also, and he
Oh,
can
for
score
sure.
goals. We've seen it. Kudus can score goals, so
Incredible.
he's a big goal threat from that left hand side. So
Yeah.
if Zini is not on his game on the day, we're screwed. We're totally screwed. And
Right.
it can come from that wing. He can cross the ball. He could actually cut in and find a way into the 18-yard box easily. Things Zini knows nothing about. He doesn't have defensive discipline. He lives his defensive duties, rushes out to go fight a war in the midfield, and again
Mhm.
he doesn't have the speed and the pace to run back, get back in position, and help out the team
They're
defensively.
just too
It,
far up the
it's
pitch.
it's a big problem we have. We're screwed in that arena. It's a big
Well,
problem
right.
already,
And the
dude.
only way I see out of it, like I was saying, is if we really if we really push our game onto them and really try to lock them in their half, right, and dominate that way through the whole half of the pitch. If we can do that and continue to get the ball and keep
Yeah.
pressing and pressing, I do think we can get something there because we won't be letting the outlets of Kudos because Moyes is definitely going to be wanting to hit us on the counter with Kudos. I mean, that would only make sense. He can hit
Mm,
us on the counter with Jared Bowen up the middle if Gabrielle, you know, has a dunce moment as well. There's a lot of little things that can happen, but I think if we're at home and we can keep them under wraps in their half of the field and do what we do best, we can get out of there with a win. I think I said 3-1. That's probably a little bit extensive, but a 2-1, a 1-0, 2-0, I think it's possible.
when you said 3-1, I was like, does
Well, I mean,
Oracle Bruno?
2-1 and then one at the end. I mean, we've
I,
been
I, think,
scoring
I think maybe
every
Oracle
time I say
Bruno's
that.
had
Hold on.
so
Every
much
time
to
I say
eat
that,
during
bro,
Christmas. Maybe you're not thinking so well at this
every
time.
time I say that, though, I got to put an asterisk and say it's going to be at the 89th minute, right?
David
It's
Shaw,
not going to be
Rook
3-1 in the
Rook
60th
Avenue,
minute
big
or
up to
some
you,
shit,
man.
right? It's going to be 3-1 at the very end of the game.
The
I mean,
very end of
it's
the
a
game.
2-1. It's a 2-1 either way. I mean, to be honest, it could be one of those games we slip up. Jared Bowen gets a ball through in the 93rd minute. It's over. You
It's
know,
over, man. It's over.
but at
But
the same
again,
time,
what are the
what happened?
positives? Yeah, because you know me, I like giving a chance to the positivity also in the games too. But again, what are the positives we can take, from it? That Arsenal is meeting
Well,
West Ham. What strengths can we say we have as our positives right now?
right. I said, well, the positives are that Declan Rice is going back home, so he's going to want to prove a point,
Okay.
right, against them. So he's going to want to, he's going to have a little more impetus into doing what he needs to do. I think Saliba will probably be pretty comfortable. Gabrielle is the only center back I worry about a little bit. Of course,
Mm,
Zinchenko, he'll fuck up, but hopefully not too bad. We
yeah.
know he's going to mess up, and Kudos is going to burn him a couple times. Hopefully, it's just not for a goal, right? I mean, Kudos is
Mm,
going to burn him. There's no question about that. It's going to happen 2 or 3 times. We're going to be on the back foot, but it's how we recover from that. So I think
mm,
the real strength is going to have to come from our midfield. Odegaard's going to have to find space to move the ball around and to accurate pockets of the final third, so that our striking force can do something. And I don't want to see them just passing the ball necessarily. How do I say this? Directly into Martinelli, right? I
yeah.
want some like Martinelli movement onto a ball. Maybe have Odegaard play a through ball between the defenders and Martinelli run behind. I don't know, but I want to see something more than just Martinelli's head down, kicking the ball side to side and trying to outwit the
That's the
defender
side.
because it's not working. And you know, we need to find a solution that works because I still think Martinelli has goals in him. I think Saka has goals in him. But we need to exploit those areas of the pitch to get them to run onto the ball and not deliver it directly at their feet, if that makes sense. Because that's where we're getting caught up, is that we're
Mm,
giving the ball to them directly. It's giving defenders time to move on there, and it's not anything they can run onto. It's not as
mm,
open. That's what I was trying to say. Like with Tottenham and Villa, there's an openness of their play. And
yeah.
I don't know if it's coaching or just these players know where to be on the pitch, but you can see that there's just more of a dynamicism with their attacking three right now than what we have. And I don't, mean to compare us with the scum, but I mean, let's be honest, they're up in the top four for a reason. They had an incredible start to the season. Um, but I just think that if we play our game, Tony, we can win. I really do. I think we can beat everybody. We've beaten City. I mean, we've beaten United. We've played Liverpool as closely as possible as we could,
Yeah.
even though we could have played better. I just think that this West Ham game, if we want to be top, these are the games we have to win. And Arteta
Are
needs
the,
to
are the
push
games we
that
have to
onto
win.
the players. These are the games
We
you
have
have
to
to
win this sort of
win a title.
games. We can't afford to because if Liverpool is beating them 5-1 at home
Right,
at Anfield, Arsenal, if we're going for the title, we ought to be disciplining. Put a bit of discipline. On West Ham. But the final question before we go, we have an open bench now. What I mean by open bench is that Kai Havertz is not there to block the guys from the bench from coming on. So
right,
what?
right.
See, we have Emmy Smith Rowe down there right now. Yeah, Emmy Smith Rowe. He will be there he will be open for for selection tomorrow. We also have Trossard who will be open for selection.
Mhm.
Uh,
He'll probably
How
start.
do you see the change in dynamics on how to change our attack? And do you think this guy should be able to come in and at least have a sniff? Yeah, have a sniff. Show us what they can do.
Mhm.
How about Nelson? How about Smith Rowe? Can these guys come in and show us that? Hey, see, even if Fabio Vieira is injured, even if we don't really have Kai Havertz, we can at least put in a shift and cover up for these guys.
Right. Well, if Arteta has any balls, he would put Trossard at left wing because Martinelli's kind of not done much, and bring
Hmm.
ESR in on the left side. Have Trossard and ESR on the left side. I think that combination would be good. But I haven't seen enough of ESR to know what he's even playing like.
But he
That
hasn't been given a sniff either.
I know.
He
So
hasn't
it's
been
like
given a sniff.
I
Let give him a
worried
sniff.
about
Let's
it.
know what's up.
Right, right. No, and I'm with you on that, Tony. But I just feel like in my heart of hearts that Arteta's gonna be like, oh, I don't have Havertz, so I got ESR. Oh, maybe I'll throw El Denny in there, or he'll throw Jorginho in there. And they said Thomas
Oh
Partey might
my
be back.
God.
If Thomas Partey's back, great. Because then you can have Rice play that left position. If Thomas, right?
Thomas Partey will only be back for the next game against Liverpool
I've read
in
West
the
Ham that
FA
he
Cup.
may be available against West Ham,
I
possibly.
heard it. I heard it's gonna be available. Him
Hope
and
not.
Tomiyasu, who has had a very rapid healing process with the injury setback that he had. So I heard that's gonna come back in that game against Liverpool in the
Mhm.
FA Cup. So
Okay.
that's where we at right now
Right.
with
Yeah.
with the
Right. If he
injuries.
comes on, let's say with 10 minutes to go in the West Ham game, and we're up to 2-1, Mark Thomas Partey needs to run. Right. He needs some match. So let's not be totally surprised if he's on the bench and comes in for if we're winning the last 10 or
Mm,
15 minutes. We'll see.
say
But
yeah.
Liverpool sounds a lot more realistic to me as well. Um, you know,
Mm,
who knows what can happen because I think that there's players on West Ham that are better than some of our players on form, but I think
yeah.
overall we're a better squad.
Mm,
And I don't think there's much argument against that because we've proved that. We've proved that. I mean, we were second last season. We're first this season. I mean, it's just right now we're the better squad. But Assemble has a good point. We're scrapping points, and yeah, I have not seen a comfortable win except with
said was
Sheffield.
scrapping points.
Well, we are. We are. I mean, we kind of are. I mean, we were relying on 89th, 88th minute goals, right? I mean, that's what we
Mm,
relied on against Liverpool. That's what it
mm.
turned out to be, right? And it just didn't happen. But they should have won that game anyway with Trent. 5-2. Come on now. Come on now. At home, there's no way. Not with
Yeah, man.
Saliba being informed, being our best defender. No way. But
Yeah.
Assemble's got a very good point. We're scrapping by getting wins. Um, but so are other teams in some instances, and that's why we're top. I think if we were playing this way we were last season, I don't think we'd be close at all, to be honest, because
Yeah,
we're not
exactly.
scoring like we were last season. It's not as fluid as it was
Well,
last.
well, rather than saying that maybe we're really glossing over, I would just say several individual players. have actually helped us this season to actually go through these games unscathed. And I'm talking of our defense. I'm talking of Saliba. I'm talking of Gabriel. I'm talking of Declan Rice. These guys individually have put in performances to really help us out. So
Right.
let's see what happens, man. Let's see what
Yeah.
happens. We've come to the end of the show, Oregon Goon. I just wanted it to
Uh,
be 1 hour, but me and you were talking such a way that it's so addictive. Yeah, like the 1 hour,
sure.
you're like, oh my
That's
god,
why
it's
we
not
love
just
it.
enough. You
That's
can't
why we
get
love the
enough.
game.
Was it Michael Jackson that said you can't get enough or something like that? There was a
You can't,
track like that he did. You can't get enough. Yeah, see, I can't get enough of the Oregon Gooner whenever me and him come on the Darling Cloud show. But again, see, I'll put you on the spot just before we go. Yeah, uh,
okay.
Manchester United, Aston Villa.
Mm.
That game has already started. What do you think?
Villa at United, I believe. Um, I
Yeah.
believe this is going to be. Oh man.
Mind you, Ratcliffe has already bought the minority stake in Manchester
Okay,
United. So
that's been done.
that story is a progressing story, but again, it has been done. So a little bit of stability is now back to
Right.
Manchester United. So uh, something might happen today. You never know. But what do you think?
Well, I think United are to the point where they have to win, right, to keep their manager, to keep their hopes of anything alive, really. And Old Trafford's a very difficult place. Aston Villa drew against Crystal Palace, and I think they're going to draw probably 1-1 against United. Um, United, I know, are terrible. Teams are beating them, and Villa could thrash them 4-0. But I just don't. I just think that draw is going to carry over a bit. United will be up for it because they absolutely need points, and
Mm,
I don't think the players, as much as they probably dislike Ten Hag, I don't think anybody really wants to see a manager fired the day after they lose a prem match. I mean, they should have done it weeks ago, but
week to
that's
go.
here nor there at this point. I'm just hoping for a draw, hoping both teams just cancel each other out. To be honest, well, I hope
Yeah,
United
exactly.
win to stop Villa, but realistically, I think Villa still are going to score a goal
I'll
or two.
prefer I'll prefer I'll prefer a Man United win because Man
Yeah, but I
United
think the
can't
draw is
they
more
can't get to
realistic.
us right now, and it would be
Right.
good that Aston Villa don't get any points
Any
as
points, right?
possible.
So
Nothing. We don't want
right.
them to have any points.
And
So
I think United want to prove that the Liverpool game wasn't such a fluke. So maybe they'll be after something. Who
mm,
knows? But I'm definitely going to watch some of that before I jump in my work meeting here.
okay, definitely. Oregon Gunnar, do you want to change your prediction for the Arsenal matchup, or are you
Uh,
sticking by the same
I'm
thing?
yeah, I'm going to stick to 3-1 because I still think we can do 2-1 and nick one at the end. And we're at home, so I'm going to be optimistic and say 3-1, even though my mind is telling me something
Yeah,
different. But I'm going to go
yeah,
with my heart
exactly.
and go 3-1.
Oregon gonna tell us for what you got coming up this coming week, and
Oh,
that,
wow.
that's this week actually,
Yeah,
and tell them where they can find you, my brother, man. Another
right on.
lovely classic between me and you, episode 17,
Great show
season
today.
one.
Yeah, I'll be on Friday again with TJ and Connor. I don't know if Connor's going to make it, but with TJ for the American Idiots show. I know Connor's got some friends from uni that he's visiting with, so he may or may not make it. But yeah, Friday, TJ Warren, American Idiot show. We're going to dive into the West Ham game for sure, talk about
Mm,
Liverpool. Um, Other than that, you can find me again with Tony next Monday, next Monday or Tuesday, and talk about the West Ham game. But
exactly.
check me out on Oregon Goon on YouTube. I'm on a road to, I don't know, 120 subscribers. I'm at 100 and something right now. So yeah, I think I'm going to throw some more content on there at the beginning of this year, Tony. See what I can do with my channel. But other than that, yeah,
Yeah,
Oregon Goon on YouTube and Infamous Down on IG. Come and say hi.
yeah, definitely. See Oregon Gunner anytime you need me to be on that channel. Count me in.
I got to get it
Count
together,
me
man.
in. I'm the first guy signing. I'm signing on
I
that
will
dotted
sign.
line. Yeah.
I will sign that
Yeah,
contract
and
for
no
you.
no need for the brown envelopes. I'll come all for free.
Okay. Let's not get any financial irregularities.
Exactly, man.
We'll just use Venmo. It's untraceable.
Exactly.
It's
See ya,
$10 for
guys.
showing up on the show.
Guys, go support the Gunners. Come Thursday, we need to win. We need to get back to the top of the league. From me and Oregon Gunner, we are out. Big ups.